Oh my. Are you up late at night like I am? Are you flipping through the channels, checking all the news and see what the latest is on the election? I have an idea. Quit it. I'm not kidding. I know that might have been funny, but you know what? Really, quit it. So yeah, stumble out of bed for a teachable moment, right? I mean, no makeup. I really don't care. This is so important that it's more important than what I look like when I tumble out of bed. Right now, we need to learn some breath work because if you're tossing and turning and can't sleep, you need to do something different. And let's do something different that's healthy and that at least will lead us to healthier things. All right. Um, the news will be there. It's not going anywhere. But you know what? If you tune in too much, you're actually hurting yourself. We already know that stress is well, they call it a killer, right? That's for a reason. When you're stressed out, you're actually releasing chemicals that over time, the drip, drip, drip of those chemicals eventually make you sick. And depending on the individual, can manifest in all kinds of different ways. And if it's severe enough, you can actually damage the cells. Some say even cause cancer, right? Everything is a vibration. And if there's a disruption and it's chaotic, then the cells don't function correctly. And when you have disruptive thoughts, meaning you're stressed out over things like the election, or anything else, quite frankly. I mean, it could be about your partner or your kid, any stress throughout the years, throughout your life, it starts to stack up. And over time, makes you sick. So, all right, so what do we do about it? Well, one of the very first things I learned was to act like you're babysitting somebody. Like you've got a little kid in your care and it's time to turn the TV off. And like I just did, right? You saw it. You saw the news this morning. It's dark 30. And what are you doing still up watching the news? It's time to turn it off. And you know what else it's time to do? Because often you can't just go back to sleep, right? You've been stressing yourself out. How are you going to have your body relax now? You were purposely going over and over and over the news, right? So no, your body isn't probably going to relax just like that. It often doesn't work that way, am I right? So the other very important skill that is really going to be helpful, it certainly was for me, is to go back to basics. And one of those very basics is breath. Breathing. When you're born, you are born with the innate ability to breathe correctly. What does that mean? Everybody breathes. Well, believe it or not, most people, by the time they're an adult, no longer breathes correctly, and it's directly due to stress. Let me give you an example. You ever look at a dog or a kitty that's laying there taking a nap, and you watch their breath? Well, you'll see that their ribs are expanding and contracting with each breath. That's the correct way to breathe, is from your belly. Now, observe your breath for a minute. Are you breathing with your belly, with your ribs, Or are you breathing with your shoulders and your neck? In fact, a lot of people, you'll watch videos that'll teach you breath work, or which I highly recommend, by the way. It's just another wonderful skill to have if you're going to be serious about getting healthy. But a lot of people will say, take a deep breath, right? And then, well, what do? They go, well, that's wrong. What are you doing? You're tightening up these muscles, and that's not good. That's what stressed you out in the first place, right? Okay, all right, so enough of that. All right, so it's a practice. We have to practice, because by the time you are in school, I mean, you're born with the ability to belly breathe with your gut and expand your ribs, belly breathing. That's the way you're born. But over time, and when you go to school, you sit in a chair for hours in class, and you start to, for the first time, accumulate stress. And now you're starting to breathe like this. You're in a chair all day. You're no longer using your belly. And then before you know it, you're an adult, and now you've got years of practice of breathing incorrectly, right? Wrong. Use your belly. And it might feel extremely foreign to you. It probably does. Well, clue number one, you're doing it wrong this whole time, right? So practice with your belly. Now here's another thing. I just took a breath with my mouth. Did you notice that? That's also incorrect. You really should be breathing through your nose. And there's a few scientific reasons for that. Number one, it cleanses your breath. When you come in through the nose, it actually cleanses the breath, and you're less likely to catch a cold or the flu, or during the pandemic, that's extremely important to be using your nose when you breathe and not your mouth. Wear your mask, of course. That's another thing. When you're wearing your mask, it doesn't do you any good if you're wearing it like this. You need to cover your nose, because you're breathing with your nose. You're not supposed to be breathing with your mouth. Your body is built to breathe through your nose on purpose, okay? So now, if you learn to breathe correctly using your ribs, your belly, and through the nose, not the mouth, and make a conscious habit to actually do that throughout your day, you're already a step ahead in getting healthier. It triggers all different kinds of autonomic things in your body that you need to be healthy. For one thing, when you breathe in through your nose, you have two nerves. It's the largest nerve in your body, and it goes down your sides of your neck, and it goes clear, and it reaches every single major organ in your body. So it's extremely important. So breathing through your nose supplies that vagus nerve with oxygen. And boy, that is, if you're breathing like this all day because you're upset and nervous and, maybe angry or just always tense, and you're not breathing correctly, you're robbing that vagus nerve of the oxygen that it needs. So with the belly. Now here's another trick that's very important if you're going to learn to calm yourself down, which equals to good health. And that is to count your breath. So when you're deliberately trying to take care of yourself, hopefully you're doing a little bit of exercise. Right now, it's 11:45 at night. And that's because my schedule is really weird. So I start about this time at night, and then I'll exercise till the wee hours of the morning, but I'm not exercising the entire time. I'm also doing some breath work, and among other things, but we'll get into that later. But when you do your breath work, you want to count 4 on the inhale. 2, 3, 4, and then count 4 on the exhale. And don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, right? You want to count 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And do like 10 sets. And if you practice that, like right before bed, you will sleep so much better. And here's another trick, speaking of being able to go to sleep and go to bed. All right, I taught you the one with 4 in and 4 out. Well, if you change it up just a little bit and make it 4 in and 8 out, that actually will trick your autonomic system into wanting to go to sleep. It's a wonderful trick to calm yourself down when you need to go back to bed because you've been watching the news, right? So, all right. So you breathe in real slow for 4 counts. Breathe out real slow for 8 counts. Now, don't be doing that when you're driving your car or you're supposed to be paying attention to something real important, okay? Because that really, truly, that count of 4 in and 8 out truly is to get your body to get ready to sleep, okay? Take it seriously. It really does work. And this is a precursor. Think of it like scaffolding for everything else you need. You've got to have steady breath. If you don't learn to control your breath, you really can't control anything else. Okay, so if you're going to learn how to heal with me, remember I told you, I promised you I was going to kind of, bring you along and show you what I've done to heal myself. And in case you didn't see my other videos, I had rheumatoid arthritis, I had osteoarthritis, hands, knees, shoulders, wrists, to the point of not being able to walk or hold a cup. I've had other videos that go into that, so I'm not going to go into that in this one, but needless to say, I healed myself, and I learned from Dr. Joe Dispenza and also other studies. I studied it quite a while, and it turns out that it has a lot to do with the quantum field. And you wonder, well, now, you just told me how to breathe in and out. What in the heck does that have to do with the quantum field? It does. It does. It's really strange, I know. And we'll go over more of that, but if I dive into that kind of stuff with you right off the bat, I'm going to lose you. I know it, because it is freaky, weird, strange. But we'll get to the science, I promise. Stick with me. Right now, let's stick to the basics, because we got to get this breath work down. If you don't have your breath down, you can't control anything else with your healing. Okay? So, turn the news off. Practice your breath work. And another thing, every time you find your mind racing, whether you're trying to go to bed or not, even if you're just doing the dishes and your mind starts racing about whatever it is that's been stressing you out, and you've got that loop. It's like a tape that just keeps playing over and over and over. That one coworker. The one thing that will save you every time is what? Breath work. Go back to your breath. Breathing, everything that's alive has to breathe, even plants, right? We get oxygen from them, they get carbon dioxide from us, we both breathe. In other words, everything that's alive has to breathe one way or another. And if you are depriving yourself of breathing correctly, you're bound to add to the stress of the cells in your body, which leads to disease, right? Which leads to all that kind of stuff. So practice your breath, and then we'll move on from there. And this is something you need to do every single day. And it's good to do it more than once, even if it's just like on your break. Remember, do some breathing. 4 in, 4 out. That's the one you use for just during the day, okay? No heavy equipment on the other one. Remember, when you exhale, 8 out. That's when you're really trying to slow your system down, okay? So always come back to breath. Remember, breath is your friend. You can always come back to breath no matter what. Breathing is groovy. It's so groovy that the universe thought to give you one inhale in. That's how you came into this world, right? And when you leave this world, what happens? Hopefully, it's a peaceful, happy exhale out. And wouldn't that be groovy to leave peacefully? And you can have that if your life has been happy and healthy. Take a breath. Mind your breathing. Observe your breathing. Become the observer. Now I'm starting to get into quantum physics. You see, when you become the observer, as if you're looking through virtual reality glasses. Have you ever done that before? I highly recommend it. It's really cool. So you got these glasses and you put them on, right? And you look through it and it's a whole nother world. And it's, take them off and you're back in yours, put them on and you're in virtual reality again, right? Well, you can pretend like you're looking through your eyeballs, but your virtual reality. In other words, you're observing yourself. Observing. If that makes sense, right? You become the observer. By the way, that's an excellent way to calm yourself down during an anxiety attack. Tell yourself, oh yeah, I can become the observer. And now that breath work that Groovy Kim taught me to do will be easier because now I can, in my mind's eye, step back and become the observer, right? And go, oh, breathe in 4. So it would look like this, right? You'd be, I'm having an anxiety attack. What did Groovy Kim teach me? Oh, that's right. Okay. Breathe. Oh, okay, I gotta watch myself. That's right, I gotta observe. Okay, I'm gonna breathe. I'm gonna watch myself. 4, what'd she say? 4. Okay, 4. Okay. Oh yeah, through the nose. That's right, through the nose. It's important. Okay. Oh boy, I could only do 3 that time. I couldn't even make it to 4. I'm so upset. Okay, all right, slow down. Okay. That time I got 4 in and 4 out. Okay, let me try it again. Okay. And that time I was watching myself do it. I see what she means by it being the observer. You see how I went into third person right there? Talking about Groovy Kim? Well, that's what I want you to do about yourself. It works. Talk about yourself. Say, you know what, I'm going to get an upgrade here. And the old me, she's over there, but the new me, what would she do? She would listen to Groovy Kim and learn to do the breath work. And oh yeah, she told me to breathe 4 and to watch myself in my mind's eye, to observe. All right, let's go. 4 in. Oh yeah, I forgot about what I was upset about. Whoa. It actually worked. Took my stress away for that long. But then, you know, that one person made me angry. Uh-oh. I just lost connection with the quantum field. Because I started looping that tape again, right? About my stress, what I was stressed about in the first place. So what happens? I caught myself. Putting that tape back in and listening to the whatever the stressor was. So now I have to eject the tape again. Eject? Oh, how many of you know about cassette tapes, right? You push play and eject. All right, I realize my audience may not know eject. All right, well, certainly, push play. I would think maybe your parents had a VCR. All right. So anyway, you want to, just like I turned the TV off, you want to take that tape that's going in your head and put it on pause at least, okay, with your breath work. And that's how you do it. All right. Keep your TV off. Go back to bed. And instead of laying there tossing and turning, why don't you practice your breath work? Because I promise it really does work. Here's another example. And what's so weird is I knew this, but I would apply it to others, but not myself. And what I mean by that is eons ago when I was young, I worked for a physician. And I used to get to help out all the time in outpatient surgery. And one of the techniques I learned early on from doctor was when the patient is visibly starting to show signs of anxiety, which of course they normally do before surgery, not only would I hold their hand, which human connection often can help with that, but I would right away teach them the breathing technique. I'd say, come on, breathe with me. Slow, deep breath. Count with me. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I would observe them. Obviously, it's hard to start teaching them how to observe themselves at that point. They're not wanting to learn techniques, and they're scared because they're about to, have surgery. So it's not that much of a teaching moment, but right now it is for you, right? Because you're not having surgery right now. So now you're in a position where you're in a comfortable place, hopefully, and it's quiet, where you can practice your breath work. Because, boy, it is so important if you intend to learn how to heal yourself. Now, that's what you're here for, right? I know that's what I'm here for, is to show you how I did it. And once you learn how to do your breath work, I'm going to say, well, I wouldn't say halfway there. There's more stuff. But boy, it's a huge chunk of it. I mean it. Breath work. Breathing is groovy. Knock off the coffee and caffeinated drinks, at least 3 hours. Some people say 2, but, if you're having a problem sleeping, make it 2 hours. Make it 3 hours before bedtime. You're just asking for problems on top of problems, right? So limit your caffeine, do your breath work, and then we're going to add on to that in the next video. All right, stay groovy. I think we found something that was really groovy. It's called your breath. All right. Fresh air. So good. So good for you. Fresh air. So good for you. More ways than one.